San Francisco's liberal utopia, it's sliding further into the doom loop crisis as we see a surge in office building defaults with more on the horizon. Property owners struggle with higher interest rates and record vacancy of 34%. How many buildings are we talking about? How many buildings are going to be given back to their lenders in San Fran? Let's get into it. Here we go. Love this past due. Like anybody puts past due on anything anymore. They just send out a notice. All right, you're in default. I'd like to take over your property. Actually, we don't really want to. None of these lenders want to take over these banks. I think people get this notion that none of these lenders want to take over these buildings, I should say. People get this notion they're just going to steal up all the property and they're going to take the prime real estate for themselves and they're just going to make bank. Now, it's other investors coming in that does that. The banks themselves, they make a crap ton just doing what they're doing and then getting bailed out, right? Let's be honest. And so when banks take back real estate, they are not in the business of taking back foreclosed real estate. It's big outfits like BlackRock that come in and just take over entire communities. And, they do their investment thing and then everybody's rent goes up and, what happened? Well, in San Francisco, we got the past due going on. More San Francisco office buildings have teetered into default. Teetering? That doesn't sound good. A surge in mortgage defaults tied to office buildings across the city raises the risk that more properties will be turned over to their lenders. You've got a bunch of moving parts here. And, I always throw out the liberal utopia because why not? I mean, it's part and parcel. All these things work together. And when you've got, companies that don't want to rent space because, you got nut jobs out on the streets just walking around, or you've got homelessness or drug addiction or drug abuse just staring you in the face. People don't necessarily want to rent out their big office space in those types of environments. So we'll get to where these things are located with the San Francisco, but so much of this has to do with the fact that more people are working from home and they're refusing to go back in. We've got a real struggle between, management and owners and employees. Employees are like, nah, F it. I'll quit. Go get another job if I need to. Because a lot of folks with the positions that can work remotely, they've got a pretty easy ability to do lateral moves or slight incremental upward movements. Here in Seattle, tech workers, every couple of years, they will leverage, hey, I'm thinking about taking a job with, what can you do for me in order to get a bigger raise, right? That's pretty normal. Or you just move around every 2-3 years and it's not a big deal because that is not seen as unstable where it used to be. Well, your employment history, Mr. Reynolds, here is, you've moved around a lot. That doesn't really matter anymore. In today's world, in the tech world, that is seen as any day ending in Y. It's just what you do. There's zero loyalty. There's no loyalty whatsoever. It's like, this isn't working out for me. This isn't exactly what I need for me. And so since I'm a tech worker and, we're kind of in massive, and I don't want to boast, toot my own horn, but then we're kind of in demand here. So therefore, management, you can go after yourself. I'm just going to get a job elsewhere and I'll probably get more money. And that's what they can do. So you've got so much of that going on and people recognizing we don't need all this office space. Meanwhile, 34% vacancy rate. 1 out of 3, every spaces in San Francisco is vacant. And so if you got to drop that rent to get somebody enticed into your building, you're going to have to go to the lowest common denominator. And that may not be enough to make your mortgage payment. Or say you're owner of a building, and commercial loans work differently than residential. You don't get a 30-year loan. You get a short-term loan, handful of years, right? Millions and millions of these loans are coming due in the next couple of years. Some of these are coming due now. And because we have an interest rate environment that is substantially higher than we were just a couple of years ago, or substantially higher than when many of these buildings were purchased just prior to the pandemic, those are the ones where, okay, we don't have a ton of equity in them. We've got this interest rate that doesn't make sense. And now we've had, the vacancy factor just drop to these, 34% vacancy rate within the city. Those are all conducive to this doom loop that is specific to San Francisco. As far as the levels that we're seeing that happen in other cities as well. Seattle is a really good example because we've got some of the same dynamics there. A lot of work from home, a lot of tech. And so those people can work from home, and we just don't need as much space in downtown, right? In August, loans linked to towers at 222 Kearny Street, 995 Market Street, and 1045 Bryant Street went into special servicing, indicating a lack of payment or imminent default, according to BRS Morningstar. And so what does that mean? That means that the owner of the property is no longer going to be making payments on that property. And so you got your A division of whatever lender it is, whatever bank it is that does regular mortgage servicing. Okay, guys, we're going to have to move that loan from this division, the regular mortgage servicing, to the special needs, to the short bus, right, of lending, which just means, hey, we got a real problem here. There's something going on. It's typically default, right? There's going to be an issue with this loan. It's not going to be a top performing. Just throw that into the bottom tranche of that, mortgage-backed security. It'll be fine. They'll never see it. You got The Big Short, and that's on residential, right? It's a good movie, by the way, Big Short. Okay, so let's take a look at where those are. So I did research on this podcast. I think you think I don't do any research. I just sit in here and somebody sends me a bunch of podcasts. I'm like, yep, take it. And I just start talking. Now I got to research stuff because, we need background. Here's where those properties are. 222 Kearny Street. All right, right here, right by the Nike San Francisco. Here's the Tenderloin, okay? Pretty standard location. Here's your financial district up over here. Here's Embarcadero. So, I mean, you're wedged in between. Here's Union Square. I mean, you've got a handful of minute walk to Union Square. Westfield Mall right there. Westfield Mall's, I think, further down. It's off the map now because, they're working that one out. All right, so that's that one. Here's 995 Market Street. All right, so we're a little bit closer to the Tenderloin. That's not good. That's not good. But so much of this has to not do with, all right, it's right by the Tenderloin. But I'm showing this to you so you can get kind of an idea. Where are these buildings located? And commercial buildings has to do more with, what kind of income are they bringing in? Because that's what dictates whether we can make our payment or not. And when you've got a third of your building vacant, that tends to not bode well for the project in general, right? Okay, so here is 1045 Bryant Street. This one's a little bit further south. It basically just due south. Here's the Whole Foods Market. Is that one still open? It is open. The other one I think was up over here. There's Oracle Park. Okay. So this one here's Tenderloin. Okay. So it's to the south of the Tenderloin by 3/4 of a mile there, something like that, something in those. So all of these are right in that kind of troubled area on the outskirts of the Tenderloin, on the outskirts of the financial district, somewhere just right there. And we're going to talk about another one, which is 55 New Montgomery Street. That is also right here, just north of Mission Street. And here's your Tenderloin. There's your sign. This one's really close to Union Square. So, you've got default, you've got high vacancy rates, you've got close to the Tenderloin, you don't have investors lined up to take these things over. You will at the right price point because some people are getting some deals out there, right? And so many of you want to say it'll never come back. It will. It's just going to be a while. And there's going to be some real bloodletting as it happens, right? The San Francisco Center, that's the Westfield Mall, the city's largest mall, and two of the city's largest hotels, which we've talked about, the Park 55 and the Hilton San Francisco Union Square, have already been seized by lenders. Yeah, because it's not like the lenders just scooped in and took them. The owners, especially on the Westfield Mall, said, yeah, too much poop in the elevators, 400% increase in poop on the elevators, no can do. we're gonna, give the property back to the bank. We don't want it. We don't want it. And so that's been happening. That could lead to weaker tax revenue. Will. You're seeing lower tax revenue as we speak in the form of, when you have these transactions happen, it typically indicates a weak market, and you don't have the excise tax from all the sales transactions to support the city budget. On top of the fact you've got businesses, not spending money in the city, not paying their taxes. And then you've got property values dropping to the point where people are going to appeal their taxes, and, their property's worth half of what it is on the tax record. Well, they're going to pay significantly less in taxes. All of that goes towards, the liberal utopians doom loop cycle that we know as San Francisco. So that could lead to weaker tax revenue as distressed owners appeal to the city for lower property assessments, resulting in lower tax bills. San Francisco faces a looming budget deficit that could top $1 billion in the next few years. I've read estimates that it's $1.3 billion within 5 years. 5 years. How about that? Within 5 years. How about that? All right. Yep. I mean, massive. Are we going to see a federal bailout? We're going to see that? Yeah. Is San Fran, are they going to declare bankruptcy? Are they going to be able to make it out of this? Man, I don't know. Lenders could also sell foreclosed buildings at steep discounts, lowering valuations. Yep. You're going to see that for sure. You're going to see that. A shift to remote work has led to a record office vacancy rate of 33.9. I'm just going to round that up to 34, right? I mean, is that okay with you? Or nearly 30 million square feet of empty offices listed for lease or sublease. Higher interest rates have made it tough for landlords to refinance buildings and ward off defaults. Hey, I need an equity partner. Oh, where's your property? Downtown San Francisco. Oh, hey now. Oh, yeah. What's your current rate? Oh, yeah. Your payments are going to go up substantially. And you got what for a vacancy? Oh, that's not good. That's going to leave a mark. In August, Chicago-based GEM Realty Capital missed a payment on a $23.75 million loan for 222 Kearny Street. That's the one. That's that first one. That's this one right here. Okay. So, in downtown, the 148,000 square foot building partially leased to troubled co-working firm WeWork. WeWork just cratered. Now, it cratered during the pandemic as well, because having a whole bunch of people work in one office and, all that communal area. I don't know if you've ever seen a WeWork office. They're pretty cool. I got to be honest. They have a lot of amenities. I looked at a WeWork. I don't know if it was an official WeWork, meaning that brand in downtown Bellevue, but man, it was expensive. All those little extras you get, all the little things that make those office spaces so pretty. They're going to charge you for it. So WeWork, and then its ownership, a bunch of crazy stuff happened, and the CEO and WeWork just been, it's 27% vacant. Last month, New York-based Bridgeton Holdings defaulted on a $45 million loan tied to a mostly vacant office building at 995 Market Street. The 91,000 square foot building was also once a major WeWork hub. So I think that's basically. Yeah, we talk about a little bit more. We've got defaulting on stuff here. Some of San Francisco's most valuable office towers face mortgage maturity deadlines in the coming months, though owners were bullish they could refinance their old debt. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. Who knows? We're going to find out. Now, a lot of folks just want to tee off on San Fran because of its, liberal utopian reputation. But so much of this has to do literally with specific real estate issues going on in San Fran. But some of those are worldwide. The whole work from home deal, that is a worldwide issue. I talked recently about Microsoft giving up a ton of office space in England. I think it was in London, England. And they're going to cut a check. I think it was for like 181 million to basically get out of a lease because they're recognizing we don't need this space anymore. So you've got a ton of consolidation going on like that. So you've got big business, Microsoft, pretty big business, saying we no longer need the space. How much is it going to cost for us to get out of said space? So you've got that going on top of, hey, help, we've already got 33.9 million square feet of vacant office space. And meantime, you've got loans coming due, and then you've got leases coming due, and you've got a whole bunch of subleases coming due. And so it's kind of all crashing down on San Francisco. And we're just at the forefront of a lot of this happening. So that's why I'm covering these, because I want to be able to build on, hey, what's the deal here? Will this miraculously go away? Absolutely not. It is heading in the wrong direction. And for a lot of commercial, that is happening. There was going to be a big commercial project. I'm going off of memory here because it's a site in downtown Bellevue. Oh yeah, that I go by all the time. It is kitty corner from Zeke's Pizza in downtown Bellevue, I believe. Cause it jotted my mind. I'm like, I've been seeing that building development sign on my way to downtown Bellevue or wherever I'm going. I go over that direction a fair amount. They are converting. I can't remember how many, thousands of square feet of commercial. They're going to basically go, you know what? We've still got the ability to hit that eject button on the commercial. We're going to go with housing because everybody wants to live in downtown Bellevue. It is literally this weird little bubble. I love downtown Bellevue. It's cool, but I don't do a ton of shopping. So I'm really underutilizing it because it has got some mind. You go into stores and you're like, I did not know this store existed. I need nothing from here, but it is so impressive. The amount of expensive crap in here that I don't need. But if I had just an unlimited budget for crap, I'd want to shop at Bellevue Square, right? I'd want to shop at Lincoln Center across the street from Bellevue Square because people literally come from Canada on day trips to go shopping because that's kind of the level of shopping that it is. But so you've got a ton of people that want to live in downtown Bellevue. So they're literally converting from commercial to homes, to condos because of the known future forecasts that we're just not going to need as much office space as we once had. Now, where that doesn't apply, and I've talked about this a bunch, is to the more suburban locations. Everybody's already living and working in the burbs on their computer at their home and your desk at home, right? So if they need a little office or whatever, that's office space that's had pretty good demand. And companies are like, I don't want to be in downtown. Plus, I don't need all that big, huge space in the big building. Let's move to the burbs. What do you got there? And that's essentially where I am. I'm in the burbs here of Bellevue. I'm in East Bellevue. I'm not in downtown. I'm in one of these little one-story structures that's been here since 1950, whatever. It's got like a fake Adobe stucco exterior. And I love it because it's understated. I can come and go. I don't have to get in an elevator, plenty of parking. I kind of do whatever I want, do my own thing here. I'm not really a big downtown guy, but a lot of companies, big, legit companies, they need that downtown presence. They need that for their rep, but then they don't. And that's where we sit right now. So that's why San Francisco's having such a hard time. Downtown Seattle, hard time as well. You name it. Downtown cores that relied upon a lot of commercial office space being rented out. Struggle bus. So today's podcast was kind of one more step in the struggle bus of, oh yeah, a bunch more buildings are going into some sort of receivership here. See how that goes. Now, what we haven't seen is we haven't seen any crazy purchases of these buildings go on. There just hasn't been a lot of turnover. We're kind of more in that, all right, yeah, we can't make the payments anymore. Let's give it back to the lender. You guys come in and take over. And then it goes from there. Because this stuff takes forever to kind of get through the system of ownership, foreclosure, whatever it is, deed in lieu of foreclosure, however they want to structure it. So today's podcast was kind of one of those pieces of, hey, this is happening. and it's happening. And I believe it's scaling up and it will ramp up because it doesn't have the ability. Interest rates ain't going down right now. How about that? How about that for a prediction? They're going, hold on. Oh, let's see. Stay alive till 25. That came out of a mastermind session I was involved in last week. Yeah. Stay alive till 25. I thought that was a good one. That is for residential, but it's also kind of for the commercial, for real estate in general. Because I think we've got another year of 2024 being kind of brutal. And it's been a beat down in residential. Commercial, even more so, especially in San Francisco's liberal utopia of downtown. That's it for me. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.